Hello Internet, and welcome back to the Jongravesshow. And hey, I got a little bit more Division news for you. I only got about 2 articles at the moment because, I'm trying to, well, at the very least, I have some more I'm just going to touch on too. The first one is that players really wants a flashlight. What that specifically means is that, like when nighttime comes in the Division 2, it gets really dark to the point to where that sometimes you can't really see enemies and whatnot. So yeah, having a flashlight or having some infrared like option, because again, the more that I look at this, the more that I think back to Ghost Recon Wildlands, but then again I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, like that's the difference between the characters present in that game versus the characters present in this game. Because the characters in that game, yes, they do have night vision, they have infrared, they have binoculars, they have, now their drones actually they just have a drone and whatnot, like with them at all times, which is very different compared to the Division, where basically you have all these skills and whatnot, but yet you don't have a flashlight, you don't have infrared. But then again, you're walking around a destroyed, dilapidated city. Actually having, well, most of these things would be pretty difficult to come by. So I can understand that, which is very different from Wildlands, where basically like it's a functioning army and whatnot. So all their stuff is brand new and it's helping them along. So I can understand that. However, that still kind of doesn't get away from the fact that, hey, having a flashlight in the game, it would actually help, or finding some night vision goggles at the very least. I mean, nobody's really complaining about it. It's not necessarily breaking the game or whatever. It's just a small little thing that I can basically take or leave, because again, it's like, like you can still see where they're coming from, but like you got to use a little bit more geometry in your head to kind of guess where they're going to go. Gotta sneeze. And then we have this news article, which surprisingly enough, I know what it's about specifically. But there's one part in this that I kind of have a problem with. Everything else is okay in terms of the players in which they're talking about, except for one thing that's a problem, which is the Division 2 is promising big strides in accessibility, but didn't really deliver. Basically, this article is like, okay, the Division went on to say that it will allow itself to be, so like it's gonna go the extra mile for people who have disabilities. In this case, they're blind, they have bad eyes, they have, say, like they're colorblind, and so on and so forth. And of course, they have went on to put text to speech like within the menus. They put it like over like the tutorial items and everything else. However, some are angry because it doesn't pop up over I want to say any of the gun mods and whatnot. It doesn't pop up for any of the gun mods, so they're asking them to put it over the gun mods and everything. The same thing can be said for what was it? Not necessarily the gun mods, but it was something else. Oh yeah, the font. Like some say that the font options, they're not as big as what they thought that it would be, because it still strains their eyes and everything. But they kind of want it to be a little bit bigger, because because with the text to speech option, bigger font works hand in hand and is wonderful. You know what I mean? Like all of the sounds in there, like for blind people to come in and play the game and actually get around and make their way through towns and whatnot. I actually find that to be pretty interesting, like how they did it. It's sort of like how most of the ever-growing Street Fighter games are kind of doing their sound now, to where that everything has a sound and whatnot, so that even if you are blind or you're disabled, you can still play the game and play it at a very high level. So that's actually pretty nice. The only technical problem that I have with this game, I mean, like with this entire article, I forget where it was at, but oh yeah, here it is. they went on to say that even though the game is actually fun and that they're putting all this stuff in, the problem is with small things were great for the experience, but the game's difficulty is a bigger issue. It's something that one of the guys that they interviewed, he covered like within his YouTube channel. One of his sticking points was that the enemies are far away from the player, and the Division 2 in the Division 2 are harder to aim at. And that they can pose to be a bit of a struggle early in the game, when most of the weapons have high recoil, even if you have aim assist on and whatnot. This is still a problem. The only thing that I can say to that specifically is listen. I like the fact that they're striding out there to bring all these people, or it's like all the people with disabilities, like they're attempting to make the game like accessible. I like that. However, when you as a player have basically the option to go and fix this problem on your own, which is just get closer to the enemies, that's it. The game has sniper rifles. The game has regular rifles and marksman rifles and whatnot, in which that you could put scopes on to kill these enemies from a very long distance. I mean, it's not like I'm saying that it's not like I'm saying that he's a terrible gamer. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is a easy solution with you, the player. Get closer to the enemies, shoot them in the chest, or shoot them in the head or whatever. Like, this one kind of only just screams like, well, hey man, like I had a few hard moments, but like at the beginning, so make the game easier for me. You know, I mean, they're obviously already going over and they're trying and say like, and they're putting text to speech like into everything, or at the very least, they're listening to the feedback so that they can put, also like so that they can make this fully accessible for everybody, which is a difficult road, I know, but they're at the very least trying, and I do commend Ubisoft for that. However, you know, like, you can't really please everybody, even if you do give them everything that they want. I mean, hey, look at Final Fantasy 14. All right, we want bunny women. We want the Ronsos. They give them that, and then they're still complaining. Like, honestly, sometimes you just can't necessarily get away from it. Now, reiterate my argument. I like that they're putting all this accessibility in there. I just have a problem with the whole thing of, hey man, some of the enemies are very difficult to see because they're too far away. Get closer. That's all. But that's what I gotta say about that. I'll see you on the next Jongravesshow. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. See you next time. I'm out.